Okay, so welcome, John. So excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. How are you been?
So I'm good. I'm good. We're doing pretty well here in Jamaica. Which part of the US are you?
I'm on the eastern side, so I'm in North Carolina,
Okay,
about
great.
halfway between New York and Florida on the East Coast.
Okay, cool. All right. So John Formica, known as the ex-Disney guy, we brought him to Jamaica before for the Jamaica Customer Service Association conference, and he was awesome. He was so good. We had to bring him back again. And we did a leadership program with him, and he really shared some awesome nuggets in that leadership program for a lot of organizations that came both in the private and public sector. So I thought I'm doing this Facebook Live, and John would be just the perfect person to bring on and share with our audience.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. And anything I can do to help the people of Jamaica, they've just been so warm and welcoming, and the hospitality in Jamaica is off the charts. And so anything I can do to just continue to help them to grow and differentiate that experience in Jamaica over others, just sign me up anytime. Sign me up anytime.
Awesome. And we've actually just opened up back our borders, I think on Monday, the 15th of
Oh,
June. We've started taking back tourists.
that's great.
So
That is
that's
great.
really good, right?
That is outstanding. I want to go back to Jamaica.
Did you carry your wife the last two times you
Yeah,
came?
yeah. The last time I brought my wife, and she loved it. She
Oh,
keeps
good.
asking me, when are we going
When are
back?
we going back? That's good. That's excellent. That's excellent. Did you get a chance to go down on the North Coast?
Yeah, we were at Montego Bay area.
Good. Very good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and
Excellent.
so it was beautiful there, and just a relaxing time. But again, the hospitality is just first class. The people, the service, the quality of the hotels and restaurants were just
Amazing.
top
Nice.
notch, which makes it a great experience that you want to come back. And as you know, I'm all about the customer experience, right? And
Exactly.
Jamaica knows how to do it.
Excellent. Excellent. So happy to hear you say that. So let's just dive right in and hear what John has to share with us. So, first, I want to start off, John. We are in a pandemic, unprecedented times, right? So different from, I mean, from anything I'm sure you've ever experienced in your life. I know
Oh,
it's different from anything I've experienced in
incredible.
mine.
Incredible.
And so, leaders really have to be resilient. They have to be really, extremely courageous, showing, a high level of empathy and engagement, both with their internal customers as well as their external customers.
Absolutely.
Could you share with us just how have you seen leaders expressing these types of traits during this time? And are there other traits that you think is critical for leaders to really embody and emulate so that they can really just get the best out of their team members as well as try to at least work with their customers despite their financial challenges that they may be experiencing.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, like you said, we are in a unique times. And one of the things that I've spent 30 years managing and supervising people in leadership roles. And one of the things that you can tell true leaders is when they can rise during a crisis, right? When things are not perfect, when things are not going so smoothly, what does a leader really do and look like? And sometimes you can really separate the good ones from the not so good ones. And
Mm-hmm.
we all know that in all of our businesses, I'm sure they can tell stories. They can tell me stories of how their leaders reacted, how their leaders were prepared, how their leaders inspired, how their leaders maintained their positivity through it, make sure their leaders can communicate. All of those things were so valuable, important, and they were out front and center during this crisis. And some of the
Right.
things that I've noticed was, unfortunately, a lot of leaders not following those traits and guidelines, and really wondering, what on earth are you thinking? How can you even continue to run your business that way? How can you not care or show that you care among your employees? How do you expect
Mm-hmm.
them to do it? Particularly when you're looking at the pandemic, you have restaurants that had takeout. So those employees had to come to work and risk their health. Well,
Yeah,
they got a
true.
paycheck? Really? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and some of the bosses thought that. Well, you're lucky you have a job. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is, we know that unemployment went through the roof, right? And here in the United States, unemployment was so low. And so now all of a sudden, people are going to say, when things get back to normal, maybe I don't want to work for that company anymore. Maybe I want to work somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And, here's the time for leaders to rise to the occasion. And you know what? I look at, and I get this from some of my coaching clients from their employees, and they tell me that they just felt that their boss didn't care. And you can't fake it. You can't fake it this time. So that's kind of what I've experienced. But I've always, I try to emulate and I try to follow lots of other leaders. And I think leadership is something that you can learn, but there are certain things and certain qualities that you have to have within you in order to make those things that you learn shine. And so I always follow. You probably heard this from my workshop. Is I'm the ex-Disney guy, so I love Walt Disney, and I was a big fan of Walt way before I ever worked for Disney. And I always joke and tell people, Walt Disney died when I was 10 years old. It was 1956, and you would have thought that the world came to end. I mean, people were so saddened, and I figured, what a great opportunity. I did a book report in elementary school on Walt Disney. Who knew? And I remember what you
were destined to be the ex-Disney guy.
I know, who knew, right? But I took a biography book of, and I just started reading, and I found out lots of other things that I never knew, of course. But then as I grew older, again, way before I ever worked for Disney, I studied the Disney model of what Walt did and why he did it, and all the things. And what I found out was, I tried to sort of emulate his 4 traits, and I'll go through those real quickly. But that is, he said that leaders have to show good judgment. And what he meant by that was, as a leader, we have to make decisions, don't we? Mm-hmm. And, we're not always going to be right, and we're not always going to be wrong, but we got to show good judgment in making those decisions. We can't just jump to conclusions. We can't just be irrational and fly off the handle and make these decisions. We have to kind of think about it, get people's opinion, find out, do our homework. All of those things is what leaders show good judgment. And what I found during the crisis time, some leaders didn't show good judgment. They panicked, or they became doom and gloom, right?
Yeah.
Our business is never going to be the same, and we're not going to be able to do this. And yet they're trying to lead other people who also have their own challenges at home, with maybe spouses not working or possibly losing their jobs and those sort of things. So showing good judgment is important. Walt Disney also used the word wisdom. And what Walt meant by wisdom was, you take whatever education you learned and whatever experience you learned, you put that together and you teach others. Now, how many managers do we know, leaders, that because they have a degree or because they have 30 years of experience, they think they know it all? And they walk around that way, right?
Yeah.
No, wisdom means, what'd you do with that? Did you help anybody? Are you developing your future leaders? Are you doing those sort of things? And that's Walt was always trying to teach others about how to do things, and he was to take people under his wings. A third one, which I find is a difficult trait to learn, and that is personal appeal. And personal appeal is, leaders have to be able to communicate, right? Mm-hmm. They have to be able to inspire. They have to communicate. They have to be able to give instructions. They need to teach. All of those things. And what I found during the crisis, some leaders didn't communicate. They kind of put their head in the sand and were like, I don't want confrontation. I don't want to talk about it. And it was like, no, they're looking for you you may not have all the answers, but they're looking for you to communicate. And so what I told lots of people during the crisis is, as a leader, you need to over communicate. You need to, whether it's email, whether it's text, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's Zoom, whatever it is, you have to over-communicate, because if not, during a crisis, your staff starts wondering, and they start coming
what's happening.
They start coming up with their own conclusions, right?
True, which aren't always positive.
Oh my goodness, right? So we want to make sure that by over-communicating, that they get the right answers, they get the right way to do things. And of course, you gotta be able to communicate with some personality, right? You can't come
Right.
across like a dead fish and expect that anybody's going to listen to you. So again, you don't have to be the biggest cheerleader, but you got to be able to connect with people, right? And that's what Walt said, personal appeal. And people loved Walt Disney. I always tell people Walt was a terrible manager, but he was a great leader because he let other people manage stuff, but he would lead people. And people, look at all the people that followed Walt. They loved him. And the last piece is proven competence. And proven competence means leaders never know it all. They're always learning, right?
Yeah.
And look at you, Unique. You're always learning. You're always sharing ideas. You're always helping people grow. And people that listen to you, people that you coach, people that you mentor, they're sponges because you're giving them some more information. And leaders need to always learn. And whether it's reading or going to seminars or I use this time during the pandemic where a lot of things, I'm not traveling as much and I'm on webinars all the time. I'm learning, I'm watching podcasts. I want to be a sponge so that I can get better down the road. And those are some of the qualities that I learned from Walt, and I try to, in my career, utilize those same things as well.
Very good. Very good. I agree. Learning is so important, John, because how are you going to grow if you aren't learning? Then you'd basically be at the same place that you were when you started your career.
That's right.
And if you're going to lead people, you have to be in a position to provide them with information that will help them grow. So the growth is a continual process. It's not stagnant.
Absolutely.
So you are absolutely correct.
Learning is something you learn after you thought you knew it all.
And you're never too old to learn. I mean, even if you're an expert in a particular area, what I've found is sometimes you go out there doing the research, trying to perfect that particular skill, and you realize, oh my goodness, I didn't even know that it could be done this way, because maybe it was reframed or you tried it in a new way. And you're like, wow, I learned something new. And you can transfer that knowledge to someone else.
That's right. There's a I'm sort of paraphrasing because I can't remember the quote totally, and I don't even remember who said it, but they said leaders have huge libraries, non-leaders have big TVs.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, John. Now, how should brands be using their social channels and digital communication to enhance their customer experience? Remember, the big word in, since this pandemic is everybody is pivoting to online. Yes. Even if they were not online before, they are now exploring all of the opportunities that can take them online, because that's where their customers are hanging out. And so what are some of the things you think brands really need to be showing as it relates to, and displaying a really high level of customer experience through these channels?
Well, I think in any type of business, whether you're in a pandemic or not, you need to communicate where your market and your customers are most easily going to find you, right? So whether it's social media, whether it's reading ads in newspapers, whatever it might be, or it might be, advertising on billboards, whatever it might be, wherever your market is that they feel the most comfortable, that's what you have to use. And we all know that social media and social things, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those areas are so valuable and important because in some businesses, that's where their customers are, right? That's what their customers look like. Now, again, we have to, as a business, we have to figure out where can I reach my customers the most? If I want to track CEOs, right, for my business, because I do training and I do speaking at events, I'm not so sure I'm going to get them on Facebook or Instagram, right? It might mean I might have to send them material, a brochure, so they can get on my website or whatever it might do, or do something to sort of attract them to listen to me in some way, whether it's a podcast or whether it's a webinar, those sort of things. Or sometimes it's even a book. I will send clients a book because a CEO might read a book on a plane or when they have a few minutes or whatever it might be. So we have, as a business, we have to kind of figure out where are our customers, because some people think that if I go online and I use Facebook ads, I'm going to get a ton of customers.
Mm-hmm.
But if the right customers aren't on Facebook, you're not going to get much. And
Right.
so, or you might get a lot of people watching, but if they don't write the check, if they don't hire you, then that didn't do you any good either, right? So,
True.
so it's important to kind of do your research, find out where your customers hang out, where they like to be communicated to, whether it's some like emails, some like texts, some like, social, whatever it might be. That's the way you need to communicate, whether you're good or not, whether you like it or not. You don't have a choice. And today, I know myself, I do over 110 live speaking events a year. Well,
wow.
I was on a roll going crazy until what?
COVID said, hold up.
Put the brakes on. So
yeah.
So how are people going to know me if they don't see me? Well, I had to get involved in Facebook and doing live Facebook and doing webinars and podcasts and being on shows like yours to get myself exposed. But whatever it might be, I had to enter the virtual world, and that was new to me. But you got to do it, right?
Yeah, we all have to pivot online for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, John, what do you think is the most important role of a leader? What's a leader's most important role?
I think leaders help others be better. And in order to help someone be better, you have to want to do that. So the perception is you care. And if you show me you care as a leader, you'll do whatever you can to help that person be more successful. You'll give them the benefit of the doubt. You'll coach them. You'll recognize them. You'll appreciate them. You'll do all the other things that leaders are supposed to do.
Right.
But you have to show and demonstrate that you care. I mean, I've had leaders that say, "Oh, they know I care about them." Well, when was the last time you demonstrated, right? That's different. Oh, we had a employee party 6 months ago. Well, that isn't going to help. Again, some of the leaders just don't get it because maybe they don't need it, so they think nobody else needs it.
Right.
We have to be able to do that. And I think leaders that demonstrate that you care, and you can do it in lots of different varieties because all of your employees need something in a different way. I might need some tough love. You might need some warm, fuzzy recognition, right? I don't know, but I have to find that out by spending some time with you, getting to know you. Be interested, not interesting, right? Be interested in your employees, maybe their personal lives, maybe their goals and dreams, maybe their talents and skills that you don't even know they have. But if you ask them and you get to know them, you might find out, and you might be able to use that into your benefit as a business. But be interested, not just interesting. And when you're interested, you certainly will show that you care.
Yeah, agreed. All right. So leaders need to be interested, not interesting. And they need to show their employees that they really care about them. And they have to do that by taking action. Less lip service, more action. Because of course, when you take the action, people now actually have, they're seeing something live and direct, and it's more believable. And you come over, of course, as being more genuine and authentic. And that's what you want. That's what you want as a leader, to try and get people to follow you, because people follow you not because you ask them to follow you, but they're following you because they want to. And so there must be something that's driving them to want to follow you. Why do I want to follow this person? What value are they adding for me?
Great point. Unique. That's hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what you need to do. And some get it and some don't.
Yeah, agreed. Now, failure is something that a lot of people go through. In your own life, can you think of a failure that has helped to make you a better person?
How much time do we have?
We've got lots of time.
You don't have all the time to me to talk about all my failures. Are you kidding me? No. I think the one failure I had was I thought I can do it on my own. I thought I was stubborn, that I thought that if I asked for help, it was a sign of weakness. And I look back and gosh, there were people that were reaching out to me to help. I didn't ask them for it. I didn't want their help. I appreciated their help, but I didn't want it. I could do it on my own. And, you know, gosh, you could, it just takes too long to do that. So I think it really magnified when I started my business here. And I, you know, I spent 30 years managing and supervising people and doing that. And then all of a sudden I became this ex-Disney guy, and I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach. And I didn't know how to be a speaker, trainer, and coach. I knew how to be a leader. I knew how to manage businesses. I knew how to manage companies and employees, but I didn't know how to run a business. And so I just figured I can do this. And gosh, the road was long and the road was bumpy until I got a mentor, until I finally invested in a coach to help me take my business to a whole nother level, because I listened. And I finally said, John, you don't know anything, and just listen. And that was the key. Once I did that, then I could learn and grow. And so I think whether you're just starting out in a career, I don't know whether you're a leader or not, find yourself a mentor, find yourself to help you get through it. The learning curve is going to be so much smaller. You'll be less frustrated. You'll be excited because you'll be able to make progress. You know, it's an investment in your time, but it's an investment in your future. And I know, you know, people that have invested in you and with your training and coaching, you know, you've helped them in so many ways. Could they have figured out on their own? Maybe, but you're there. You're there for the support. You're there for the experience that they need. And all they have to do is ask you, and you can do that, as compared to beating your head on the wall going, I don't know. And you know, what I found is with most businesses and people, when you don't know, you don't do. Right? If I don't know how to handle a conflict and confrontation situation, if I never learned how to do it or got a coach to help me through that, I'll just avoid it.
Yeah, right? I'll leave it alone. It will fix itself.
But yet that's what you do. And that's what mentors and coaches do. They help people get better. And I think that was a failure that, gosh, you know, I started my business in 2006, and it took to 2010 before I made any money, before I did anything. Think of all those years.
So you are going through 4 years of pain.
Gosh, you know, my wife was wondering, when are you going to get a real job?
Oh goodness. Okay, John. Before I move on to the next question, I kind of want people to get an idea of what life is like at Disney. You know, Disney is such a magical place. I mean, I've been a few times, both as a child when my parents took me, as well as an adult when I took my daughter. And every time I go to Disney, I am amazed each time in a different way as to how they are so dedicated to ensuring that I am happy, whether it's in a restaurant or it's in bibbidi bobbidi bop place where they turn someone into a princess, or it's, you know, standing up watching the teacups go round and round in a circle and I have a headache that's blasting and somebody comes over and goes, you know, would you like a glass of water? Is everything okay? So just share with us a little bit about, you know, what is Disney's why? How do they get everybody to, you know, this is talking to thousands of people, how do they get everybody on the same page to be doing the same thing?
Yeah. You know, it all started with Walt again, because Walt wanted to create this dream, and he wanted to create the happiest place on earth and fill it with happy people. And boy, was he successful in that. But I get a lot of times that question. I'll get it asked this way: how do they do it? Is it the water they drink, or, you know, are they all on drugs, or, you know, is it a cult? What is it? And, you know, it boils down to Walt's philosophy of that you have to know your why. You have to know why you choose to come work for Disney, right? And I'll give you an example. Before you fill out an application, before you want to even think about working for Disney, you have to watch a video. And in the video, they're going to tell you the why. And they'll tell you right up front, no matter what job you're applying for, whether it's in the parks, the hotels, whether you're picking up trash, whether you're in housekeeping, whether you're operating a ride, whether you're in landscape, it doesn't make a difference. The sole reason why you're going to get hired is to make people happy. In other words, you're going to work when other people play. You're going to work weekends. You're going to work holidays, right? You're going to work when it's 150 degrees outside. And, you know, the grooming guidelines are strict, and you're going to have a set of standards that you have to follow. And they do all this because what happens, about 15% of the people don't fill out an application. They walk out. Right? And, you know, and that doesn't mean they're bad people or they're not going to be successful.
It's not the right fit.
What it means is they don't fit the culture. Because again, Disney's trying to create this culture. And so when I tell people, when people say, John, I want a culture just like Disney, well, you have to hire for culture. And most businesses can't just fire everybody and start all over, right? You're in a business, but you continue to hire people. That's where you continue to hire people that have the culture that you want, that live it, want to help people. And that's where Disney starts it. But everybody understands why, of course, and that is to make people happy. And that message is recognized, appreciated. Every decision is based on, will it make someone happy or not? It's talked about, it's visual. It's not hidden on some, you know, plaque in the wall down in the HR department, right? It is out there, front and center, and you can't help but not be a part of it. And it becomes the culture so that the employees start holding other employees accountable to that culture because we're all in this together. And what can I do to help make you happy? You know, maybe I'm not serving guests, but you are serving guests. So what can I do to make your job easier so that you can make them happy? It just becomes ongoing. And from a work staff, as a leader, we tried to create an environment where people would want to do it, not feel like they had to do it. You know, and many businesses tell people this is what you have to do, but they never explain why to do it. And the employee's perception is, oh, you want me to do it so you can make a lot of money, so that you can be successful. What's in it for me, right? And so everything could be in it for you because your bonuses, your rate of pay, everything's based on the value that you're bringing to the company by making people happy.
Right.
Because once Disney stops making people happy, I'm not going, you're not going, right?
No way. So you said they focus a lot on recruitment. Give us maybe 3 traits that they look for in team members when they're recruiting them. Oh, yeah. You know, Disney always hires people to fill a role, not a position, right? So in Disney's mindset, and I'll give you a couple of nuggets. I actually have a program called How to Find, Interview, and Hire Magical People, 8 Steps to Never Have a Bad Hire Again. And I wrote that workshop and program because Unique, like me, many of us got frustrated and sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? How many of us ever interviewed someone, did great on an interview, and then 6 months later, they're lousy on the job? Like, what happened, right? So the 8 steps are helping you eliminate those people. But I'll share a couple of nuggets, and that is, you have to define what role you want the person to play, not what skills they must perform, but what role they need to perform, right? And can they play that role? It's like an actor or an actress on a TV show or movie, right? Can that actor play that part? Do they look the part? Can they act like that part? Do they look like it's a perfect fit? If not, it's like a square peg in a round hole, right? It won't work. So once you define your role, then you go out there and find people who that you see in that role already, and then you just bring them on board. So when I ask people, how do you find people? You know, you can do ads in the paper, you can do online, you can do all those things. There's 100 different ways. You got to use them all. But how many of us have ever walked into a restaurant or a grocery store and we saw somebody at the cashier or a waitress and we said, my goodness, she is awesome. I need her working for me, right? What made you say that? That person demonstrated the behaviors that you want for your employees. True.
It's already in her DNA. They already, you don't have to train them. They already know how to do that because they love to do that, right?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of people you want to bring on board. So during the interview process, you have to visualize that person working for you. Because I always joke and tell people during my program, the best they are ever going to be is during the interview. It goes downhill from there after you hire them, right? So if you're not happy while you're interviewing them, do you think they're going to get better? No way.
True.
No way, right? So a lot of times we hire people based on competence. What years of experience that they have, degrees, or they work for XYZ company, all that. I'm not saying that's not important, but what role do you want the person to play? And can I see that person playing that role? And if I can, then that's the kind of person I'm going to hire. And the questions that we ask and everything we do are based on that role, right? What have they done in the past that's going to help us indicate what they're going to do for us in the future? And that's what the interview is all about.
Gotcha. So everybody's playing a role. It's a play, and we're all cast members. So everybody needs to play their role and ensure that they fulfill that in the best way possible.
Everybody can't play every role, right? I always joke in my seminars, you might remember this. If I always tell businesses in my audiences, if you need somebody to stand at the front door of your business and greet customers and welcome them to your business, who would you hire? Would you hire me? They go, yeah. And I go, well, why would you hire me? They go, because you're energetic, you're enthusiastic, you love people, you smile, your energy. I go, okay. So you want to find someone like that in your business, right? That's the kind of person you're looking for. And if they're not that, then don't settle, right? But if you hired me to go work in the back office and manage inventory or stock shelves, I just became your worst nightmare because I don't want to do that, right? Yeah. I could do it, but I don't want to do that, which means my heart's not in it. And if my heart's not in it, I probably won't do a good job. Would you agree?
Yeah. And Disney does say that your heart has to be in whatever you're doing.
Absolutely.
Even in,
and you can tell when someone's heart's not in it, right?
You can. It comes out in their body language. They seem to be dragging their feet. They're not as enthusiastic to get it done. They lay around. It's almost like you have to be pushing them to get it done.
I say leaders. I call those leaders babysitters. And when I tell leaders, when I do leadership workshops, and I'll tell leaders, how many of you feel like a babysitter? Like the hands get raised, right? I go, well, here's the tough news. That's a you problem. That's not an employee problem, right? Because, why are you in the babysitting business? Either you've hired the wrong people, now you got to babysit them, or you haven't taught them, you haven't coached them, you're not mentoring them, you're not helping them, you're not and guess what you turn out? You turn out people that are not going to do anything unless you tell me to. And I'm only just enough to get by because, it's 5 o'clock. I'm going, man. You don't know me. Yet when you have people that love you and will do whatever they can and their heart's in it, they're staying till after 5 o'clock because they know I get a chance to help someone else.
Yeah. And they're always looking for a way that the business can improve. They look for opportunities. They see things happening in other businesses, maybe not even in the same industry as yours. And they come back and say, hey, we could try this, because they genuinely have a vested interest in the growth of the business.
So true.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. So John, can you tell us in the last 3 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has had the most impact on your life?
Delegating. Now, when I was a general manager of a hotel, I had executive committee who had department heads, who had, assistants and everybody else. And I could easily delegate because I made sure everybody knew what role they needed to play and what my expectations were. So they just ran with it. I let them run with it, right? But when you become a business owner, who do you delegate to? There is nobody. It's you, right? And so,
this is where you hire people.
That's right? So I'm doing everything, right? Because I'm who else is going to do it, right? So I learned in the last years, more than 3 years ago, but close to that, I learned that you need to delegate, and more importantly, hire people who could do it faster and better than you. It's as simple as that. And it's an investment in your business so that you can focus on the things that you're really good at, or focus on the things that are the most important in your business, right?
Right.
I shouldn't be doing QuickBooks. I shouldn't be doing my accounting. I shouldn't be doing my, my data entry and my customer relationship management. I shouldn't be out there making copies. I shouldn't be running to the post office, right? What I should be doing is looking at ways to improve my skills, but more importantly, what can I do that's going to help me in my business and market my business, and making those contacts and being in front of people. And that's where my success is. It's not doing those other things. So I think delegating, empowering, and hiring people that can do it better. My mentor and coach told me that there is no way you should be doing anything that you can't hire somebody to do $10 an hour. If you can pay someone $10 an hour, there's no reason in the world you should be doing it.
True. Good point. Good point. Good point.
I'll share a little quick funny story. We have a restaurant. It's called Panera Bread. It's kind of like a coffee bakery place.
Oh, I love Panera Bread, John.
So there's one right next to a high school down the street from me. And so I went there one time in the afternoon after school, and it's packed with all the high school kids that are studying. So-called studying. They're all, socializing around the tables having coffee, right? They're doing homework and everything like that. And then it dawned on me, I need to get when I do direct mailings, I mail out like hundreds, 500, pieces of literature, my brochures or whatever it might be, right? So I'm there, in my house watching TV, licking stamps and folding envelopes and, all this. And I just said, I shouldn't be doing this, right? So one day I brought a shopping cart, and I had brochures, envelopes, stamps, labels. And I went to a group of students sitting down at one of these tables, and I said, hey, who would like to earn $20 in about a half hour? And they looked at me and they said, what? I go, here's what I have. And I pulled out my envelopes and my labels and my brochures. I need you to fold them. I need you to stuff them. I need you to put the label. I need to put the stamp on. And it's got to look just like this. And I need 5 people. There are 5 of you. I'll give each of you $20 if you can get this done for me. They're like, off goes the homework, and they started going, right? So I spent $100 on 5 people, and in 30 minutes, it was at the post office.
Wow.
Now,
that is productivity.
500 of those, I could have done it, but that would have meant what? I wasn't doing the things that I should be doing, right?
Right.
And so, gosh, I learned the lesson. And that's what that's what leaders need to do, delegate, so that you can do the things that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because the last 2 interviews that I've done for Facebook Live, one of them was for the CEO of a company that we train, and his feedback was the same, that delegating has been one of his greatest successes. He learned it earlier in his career, but there was a part of his career that he wasn't delegating, and it was causing him a lot of pain and frustration, and it was just piling the work upon him. And he's like, why not get somebody else who can do it probably better than me? And they get it done, So it's a simple step, but a lot of us don't initially take it. And the reward is so good.
That's right. And it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. I want to share with your viewers a great quote. This was taught to me a long time ago by one of my mentors. And he said this. He said, John, every time you do a task that someone else can do, you're preventing yourself from doing a task that only you could do. John, what am I hiring you to do? And I would list those things. He goes, well, when are you going to do it? If not, I'll find someone else who will. And boy, it was like a rock hit me in the head going, I got it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So one of our viewers says, I hear you loud and clear, need to make changes in how I operate. So that's actually one of our customers. He has one of the leading building material companies here in Jamaica. And yes, it's one of the things that I do recommend to him a lot of times, that he needs to find people smarter and brighter than him and get them
Absolutely.
to do it so he can focus on more important activities in his business.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So, John, can you share with us when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused or you've lost your focus temporarily, what are some of the things that you do to refocus?
I don't know if you remember this, but I'm a avid runner. So I love
Hmm.
running long distances. And so I run for obviously the health reasons, for our health and well-being, but it's my time. I don't bring any earbuds or anything. I just go out and run, and it helps me rethink, reorganize, refocus. I start thinking about things I need to be doing and how I'm going to do it. And when I go for runs, that's 5, 6, 8, 10 miles sometimes, but it helps me re-energize myself. And that's the endorphins and things that start kicking in from exercising, of course. But
Right.
I'm clear. Boy, I get a better sense, and sometimes I don't even shower up. I'm just like, I'm ready to go. And because I can't wait to get back to get things going again. So that's what helps me. And I tell anybody, find your sweet spot. Find what some people it's meditating, some people it's music, some people it's go out for a walk, or some people
Mm-hmm.
it's read a book or whatever it might be, or spiritual, whatever it might be. But we
Right.
all need that time to focus, because our lives are crazy, our businesses are crazy. This pandemic is crazy. We could lose sight, and we could lose our focus, and we could spend our energy in the wrong way, doing wrong things,
Mm-hmm.
if we're not focused back. So that's what I do. And I encourage people to find some sort of release, whatever it might be, that works for you.
Yeah. Have you been running since COVID?
Yeah, I've lost 8 pounds, and it's, I've never done more running in my training. I'm not training or anything. I'm just out there running. But yeah, I love to do it. The bad thing about it is I belong to a couple of running groups, and we have fun runs. We have beer runs where we go at night. We'll meet at a brewery and we'll go run, and then we come back and have a couple of beers, or we do Sunday morning runs where we'll go run and then we come back and have coffee. But we can't do that because of the social distancing. So
Right.
we all do our run, and then we get on a Zoom call with a coffee in our hand or our favorite beverage, and just to catch up. But it's not the same, is it?
I know. Goodness, it's really not the same. But at least you're still putting in the exercise.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. And I think during this time, we really, as you said, we really need to focus on what brings us joy, what brings us peace, because it's a lot happening. I mean, if you sit and watch the news, I remember when coronavirus started, John, my TV was on CNN 24/7, like from
Mm-hmm.
March until maybe the middle of April, and then I got to a point where I said, no more. I'm not. This thing is it's almost like there's nothing else happening in the world but COVID-19. And I made a conscious decision to turn my TV off and not have it stuck on CNN 24 hours for the day.
Wow.
Because I realized even though I wasn't watching it, the fact that it was playing in the background, it's almost like it was infiltrating my mind subconsciously. And I just said I had to close it off. And I've been so much more productive since I
Good.
did that.
Good. That's good. If
So
there's
we
anything important, somebody will let you know.
true. So true. Because I'm not living in a cave, right? All right. Can you share with us what's the one online resource, tool, website, or app that you absolutely can't live without in your business?
Wow. And not only in my business, but I tell business owners, you need to have this as well in your business. And that is, you need some sort of a customer relationship management system, something that's going to hold all of the data of your contacts. And every business owner, I don't care what business you're in, you need to capture people's data, whether it's emails, whether it's phone numbers, whether it's mailing address, whatever it might be. You need to capture their data. And the contact relationship management system, and there are dozens out there. There are all kinds of ones out there. You need to find ones that are best for you. They're not that expensive. It's an investment. It's kind of like That's where your inventory of all your customers, your prospects, your potential customers, your existing customers. You can do so much with that list of people by identifying your 80-20. We know that 20% of our customers provide us 80% of the revenue. Well, those 20%, we need to identify and love them, right? And hug them and do more for them, right? And then you find out the ones that aren't really doing anything. Why are you wasting your time on them? They're not going to buy from you. They don't really care about you. They've moved on. But you don't know this unless you have data and information. And it doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be analytical and all this crazy stuff. You can do that. You don't have to. I'm high touch. I'm not high tech. There's my system. There's so much more I can do. I don't. But it allows you to do so many things because the money is in the list, right? The money's in the list of all the people. And you think about restaurants. How many restaurants do we go to? And they don't even get our email address. They don't even get our anything, right?
Yeah.
Now, what a lost opportunity for them to remarket me. If they're not on a list, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? And so all of those things, Facebook, obviously we want people to like your page. But it's more than that. It's capturing that information so that you can do things with them. You can market to them and give them specials or coupons or discounts, right? Because they're your ongoing existing customers. You can touch base with them, see how they're doing. One of the things I found during the COVID-19 pandemic was the stores and shops that had to close and do only online business. Well, who did they do online business to? They had to
have a list.
They had to, and many of them never had a list. So now they're out there buying Facebook ads and buying all this stuff to try to get lists and hoping, but yet they had thousands and thousands of existing customers that all they had to do is tap into that resource and say, hey, we care about you. We feel for you. We're all in this together. Here's something to help you. By the way, here's a little coupon for online. We're now delivering takeout, or we've opened up an online. They couldn't do that because they didn't have a system in place to capture that. And like I said, it doesn't have to be an elaborate, expensive system, but you got to be able to capture that information. And that's an online tool and resource that I can take that information. I can send out newsletters. I can tie it into my LinkedIn, tie it into my Facebook. I can tie it into everything that I just do something once and it gets spread out to many.
True. Very true. So everybody needs a customer relationship management system. And as John says, it doesn't have to be anything that's too expensive. It can be one of the, and there are many of them out there. There is, just to name a few off the top of my head, you have HubSpot has a really robust CRM. You have Zoho CRM. And then you have CRMs as well that you can use that integrate well with your social media. So if you're high-tech social media, you can definitely utilize those as well.
Yeah. A tip I would give you, because this is what I did when I looked at mine, and I use Infusionsoft. It's right. Bells and whistles than you can imagine. But I wrote a list of all the things I would want to do with a CRM system, and then found the company that could do that. Like,
oh, very good.
Some people are using Constant Contact or MailChimp. These
right, or ConvertKit, yeah.
That's right. And they're relatively inexpensive. But I'm a big advocate of direct mail. I like to mail things out to people. And physical, some people never heard of the post office anymore. They still exist. I love them. But Constant Contact only takes email addresses. They don't do anything with addresses. MailChimp, you're only allowed to send out email type things. You can't do mailing. So again, find out, like you said, some of them tie into social media, some don't. So find out what you want to do, and then make sure when you are looking and shopping for a CRM system, make sure they can meet those needs.
Agreed. Okay, John, share with us maybe one or two books that have had the biggest impact on you.
Oh, wow. I'm a big avid reader, so I have tons of books, but I'll have to give you my favorite. They're favorite for different reasons. Like I have a lot of books for different reasons, but I'm going to give you one I'll give you two, but they'll help your audience no matter who's ever watching. It doesn't make a difference. One is called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield.
Yes.
Now, most people don't know who Jack Canfield is. He's the guy who wrote all the chicken soup books.
For the soul, yeah. Chicken soup for the soul.
The success principles are help you in your career. It help you in your business. It help you in life. It help you with your marriage. It'll help you with your relationships. It'll help you with your school. It'll help you with everything. So it's kind of the every kind of book. It's a pretty. In fact, I have one on my. I think I have it on my desk. It's always handy. Here it is, right here. The Success Principles.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very good.
It's a pretty thick book, but you don't have to read from. Just go wherever you want. Right. So that's my one for any individual. Somebody doesn't know what they want in life. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. That's perfect. Okay. The second book I want to recommend is this: How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, I have my copy here too.
There you go. Yeah. And because in business, it's about relationships, right? You have to build relationships with your customers. You have to build relationships with your staff. You have to build relationships with the community, with your clients, vendors, and you name it.
Yeah.
Dale Carnegie was one of the best books ever written on how to win friends and influence people. If you just do the things that he shares in his book, not only in your business, but you do
personal life all the time, you'll win.
You'll win. You're going to be liked. You're going to be the favorite person. You move up in your career. You're going to make a whole boatload of money. You're going to be successful. You're going to be a good person. And what better way to be on earth than be a good person, right?
I agree. All right. So The Success Principles by Jack Canfield and How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And Dale's book was actually written when in 1936. It's a really old book, but the principles are still relevant today in 2020.
I read that book twice a year.
Nice.
Twice a year. Nice. In fact, every 5 years or so, I have to get a new cover. I wear it out.
Nice. All right, John. So what's one thing that's going on in your life right now that you're really excited about? Either something that you're working on to develop yourself or your people?
Yeah, I think in this new age of social distancing and not having live events, I've created and learned how to do a lot better and got better at virtual magical experiences. Okay.
Nice.
Zoom, live programs, videos. I've used those, I've gotten better and better and better. It's kind of interesting. You're like me. We can talk to anybody. We can be on stage. We're good. But when you have a camera in your office, it's awkward. There's nobody out there. I put my wife's stuffed animals and my cats are out there in the audience just so I feel like I'm talking to somebody. But I have to get better at that. So I redid my website, everything. So I'm doing a lot more virtual magical experiences. And I've had to create virtual coaching programs where now I can coach people. And I'm excited about it because I've always knew that I coach a lot of clients, but I didn't know I could do it so well virtually. And now I have clients all over the world. My business in that manner is growing in leaps and bounds. It's certainly helping me during the pandemic where I'm not doing live events, and it's growing. And I'm excited about that because it's just another tool in my toolbox. It's just another, resource, income stream. It's just another way to reach so many thousands of people. And, I think a lot of businesses and a lot of companies, I'm not so sure they're going to go back to live events. There's always be the big conferences and conventions because people need to go out. That's a great way of networking and learning and doing those sort of things. But a lot of training, people are realizing that we became very efficient doing this online and doing Zoom calls. So we didn't have to get on a plane and go to some meeting in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Why don't we just do that in our pajamas on a Zoom call? And I think more and more businesses are realizing that. So I have to get really good at this if I'm going to be in that arena to be able to produce the results that they want.
Good, good. I think we've all grown in that area for real, for sure. It's new, but you save so much, John. I know it's wonderful to go out and actually interact with people, but I mean, when I look at what I've saved since COVID, I'm not driving as much. So
Yeah.
of course I'm putting less petrol into my vehicle at a time.
Mhm.
Um, you can pace yourself a little better because you're working from home. You really just need to focus on from your waist up because your video is not full body, it just it's different. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
not able to touch you and feel you and hug you, but I'm seeing you, so the video element of it kind of helps to replace for the physical touch.
Absolutely.
But definitely it's
Yeah.
something that we all have to adjust to. I mean, and all types of businesses, whether you were in accounting or you were in retail, or
Mhm.
you, as you said, you were a restaurant. I mean, I know things are opening up now and people are getting a little bit more relaxed and stuff, but I do think that a lot of organizations, I personally have clients who said to me that they've actually seen productivity go up in some of their departments
Right.
since people started working from home versus working in the office. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow, that's really, really good. So they're actually not thinking of bringing them back to the office, because if they're producing more
Yeah.
working from home and it's costing the company less to bring them in, then stay home.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a new way of operating.
I think leaders, when you talk back to leaders trusting their people,
Yes.
leaders want some leaders, not all, but want control, right? And I have
Hmm.
control when I get to see everybody in my office working. I have no control when I can't see them working, right?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
hoping they're working. They better be working, but I can't.
Hmm.
I don't know are they working. Are they really working? Or are they doing laundry? And so, but I think leaders have learned to trust their employees. And again, you can measure this, like you said.
Yes, there are tools out
Are
there
they
to
are they
measure.
more productive than they are? Then that's a good thing. And we need
Yeah.
to recognize and reward them. And it doesn't mean you can't have fun. It doesn't mean you can't still have that social element. We still can definitely do that. But or maybe when things get back to normal, maybe in the office 2 days, at home 3 days. Maybe
Right.
you work out that special balance, because there is some benefit of walking down the hall and going up to Mary and saying, Mary, could you take a look at this? What do you think? There's some benefit from that, right? And so we
Right.
don't want to lose that, because sometimes we can brainstorm ideas, or we just talk to someone and those sort of things. So it's still beneficial and valuable. I don't know if it'll totally go away, but we all need to learn to be a little bit more efficient. And this virtual atmosphere that we're in, and technology is what we all need to get better at.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, John, so we've had an awesome conversation. We're wrapping up at the end now, and kind of want for you to just share with us, where can our viewers find you online? So they've heard that you've created this magical virtual experience that they can have with you because you're not doing the face-to-face anymore. Where can they find you online so that they can have this experience either for themselves or for their organization?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can go to johnformica.com. I think my name is right on the screen there. If anybody's looking, you can see that. Just go to
I'll just put it in
johnformica.com.
the comments.
Yeah. johnformica.com and sign up for my free newsletter. And it's a great way of staying in touch. And I'm also, for doing that, I'm going to give you 3 training videos for free. And there are links that you can get. You can use in your business. You can share with your staff. It's just my way during this pandemic. I'm just giving. And so I get 3 training videos for free, but you'll be on my newsletter. And when you're in my newsletter, again, you go back to that customer relationship management system. You're in my system. So you'll get a newsletter every week on what I call the magic minute, tips and strategies to make your business more Disney-like. Or maybe it's on leadership, maybe it's on marketing, maybe it's on hiring. It's all kinds of things. So you'll be able to continue to learn. There's my blog, which has hundreds of articles. I have a YouTube channel, John Formica Speaks is my YouTube channel. John Formica / Facebook fan page is my Facebook ad. You can do that just any way you want to contact me. You can go to my website and you can contact me with an email, and I'll email you back. It doesn't make a difference. I love to hear from people. I love to hear people share their stories and their successes. And I usually throw in a couple of tips or to help them make their business or career even better. I'm just a giver. Love to do that. But do that. If you go on my website, you can also find how to get my top-selling book, Making the Customer Experience Magical Now. It's a top-selling book. It's a great action guide book that helps you. It's not a book you read and put on a shelf. You do something with the book. And so those are just ways that people can stay in touch with me. And if I can help you in any way, whether it's virtually or live, just feel free to reach out.
All right. Very good. Excellent. So thank you again, John.
You're welcome.
Before we wrap up, I'd like you to think of maybe a quote or a saying, and I'm sure it's going to be a Disney quote for sure, that during times of adversity or challenge, you will remind yourself of this quote, and it kind of helps to keep you refocused. Do you have one of those?
Yes, I got one from Walt Disney, of course, right? And Walt said, through adversity and all the challenges in his life, all of those strengthened him more. So we're all gone through this pandemic. It's unfortunate, nobody, it's nobody's fault. It is what it is. And you can use this time to either grow as a person, grow as a human being, grow as a business, grow as a leader, grow as an employee, or grow as a spouse, whatever it is. You can use this time wisely, and you control the destiny, or you can be a victim and say, woe's me. If only the pandemic wasn't there, if only I would have had this, if only, and that's not going to get you anywhere. So use this time wisely. We are all going to get better in some way. I've heard people say that they've spent so much time with their family, they got to know their kids better. They got to know their spouses better. They got to do the honey-do list. That's what I've been doing, right? A honey-do list. My wife loves me more because I got all this stuff done, right? So whatever it is, use this time positively. And be an influencer in your life and life of others, and we'll all get through this together.
Yeah. Amen. All right. Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you again, John, for taking time out of your busy evening, to hop on Facebook Live with us and share all of these wonderful, amazing nuggets. And, everyone, I've shared John's website, www.johnformica.com. And as he said, he's also available on Facebook. He's on YouTube. So whichever one of his platforms that you are most active on or you'd like to reach out to him on, feel free, and he will get back in touch with you and help you create that magical experience that you are working towards getting for your customers in your business.
And thank you, Unique, for everything you do. You are making a difference in people's lives, and I commend you for that. And I wish you all the best and continued success.
Thank you. Thank you, John. So until next time, guys, I'll see you next week.